Hi. You know, if there's one tool beyond the grill or smoker itself that's going to bring you the most success in your barbecue game, it's got to be a hammer. A thermometer. Don't use a hammer, except in very limited circumstances. You have a few different types of thermometers that would come into play during a cook. The one that I probably use the most often is the thermometer that's actually built into the smoker itself, telling you the temperature of the cook chamber. So long as that is an accurate thermometer, that's going to take you a long way. If you know you're cooking at 225, 250, and you've got a pretty good experience with cooking, larger cuts of meat, that kind of is going to tell you everything you need to know as far as how long the cook time is going to be, those sorts of things. However, there also comes a time where you're going to have to actually take the temperature of the meat to kind of tell if it's done. Now, on some things like brisket, I kind of go by feel, but certainly things like poultry or even pork or things like that, you want to be more precise. And so you've got kind of two options there, generally. You've got the probe thermometer that is a leave-in, right? And you've got an instant read thermometer. And there's pros and cons for both. If I'm cooking a lot of meat, though, I tend to like the probe thermometers. I also like the fact that you can kind of check both the internal temperature of the cook chamber as well as the temperature of the meat. However, I have one very large nit to pick with the leave-in probe thermometers. Essentially, no matter what I do, I have to pinch this in the door. And so you get all of these bends in here, and eventually the cable just frays and falls apart. And that's not fun to continually order more probes. Plus, it likes to get caught in the door handle when I'm, not paying attention. I'm hoping that problem is one that can be solved by this. So this is the INKBIRD INT-11P-B. Guys, maybe work on the name a little. And this is a leave-in probe thermometer that is wireless. So we don't have this cable coming out through a grill door and getting hopelessly macerated. We're going to unbox this and see what you get. And then we're going to do a test cook. We're gonna go ahead and do up some pork butt, and we're gonna put their claims to the test. Full disclosure, INKBIRD did send me this unit for review, and I confirmed with them ahead of time, wasn't interested in doing it unless I had full, rights to say whatever I had to say, good or bad, about this thermometer. I have used their products in the past. I've got both the Wi-Fi probe thermometers as well as I think I've got a Bluetooth one as well, and I've enjoyed them. I think their software is good. They work as advertised while not costing a fortune. We'll see if that holds true here. Stick around. Okay, well, right off the bat, I think the box actually looks pretty nice. And I've kind of noticed that about their other stuff too. It's packaged really, really well. This is available on Amazon, and that's incidentally where this one shipped from. So nothing special here, not direct from the factory or anything like that. So we'll slide this off. Then it looks like it just lifts up here. This really is stout packaging. I like it. Okay. So, inside here, we've got, looks like the actual, kind of the case, and I'm guessing the probe is in here. And then we've got, for smart home living, Looks like a USB-C charging. I love that. I am so glad they don't do the crappy micro USB. A little sport card and a manual. So, not a ton of stuff in here, and probably doesn't need to be, if we're honest. This is also pretty stout. It is plastic. Oh man. Alright, I'm a sucker for silly things like that. It's a slide up. And there is the thermometer itself. This is very heavy. I'll be honest. I believe this has two different thermometers in it, essentially, right? There's the probe itself, and then this other one here on the outside will actually get your cook chamber temperatures, which is pretty neat. We're going to put that to the test. I don't know how well it's going to separate, you know, the meat temperature from the cook chamber temperature, but we'll be able to find out, because obviously when you first put the meat on, it's going to be cold, right? And the cook chamber should warm up pretty quick. So we'll be able to see an offset there, should one exist. It looks like it charges via induction, which makes sense, right? So there's no plug-in for a charger here. That would just be a port that, you know, could get grease in it or something like that. So all in all, pretty slick. I think, you know, again, points for presentation. I don't know. You know, that doesn't tell the whole tale, right? So we're going to go ahead and get this charged up, and then we're going to get a fire started and see how it works. Okay, well, let's give this thing a shot, huh? The case is magnetic. Okay, I mean, that is butted up. Should be how they want it. Okay, well, so here is a quick look at our app. And we do see here internal temperature 36, which is about what I'd expect. It was a cold pork butt right out of the fridge. Ambient temperature 126. So that's not the current temperature inside the smoker, but it's not that far off after opening the door. I think it's 145 or something like that. My guess is the ambient's going to be off by a little bit because, well, it's sitting next to a cold piece of meat. However, I would expect that that's going to get more accurate over time. Additionally here, we have a potential for a target temperature. Okay, so you could actually, it says cooking is not set here, so you could actually pick something, food type, and, you know, it'll pop in a temp. I wouldn't do that because it's going to pick like the USDA type temperature ranges, and that's going to overcook your food. We also see down here kind of a bar graph, or excuse me, a line graph of of temperature over time, right? And so we've got both the meat temperature in yellow and the ambient temperature in blue. So I don't know, I'm kind of a geek for this sort of thing, so that's kind of cool. I do want to know though, so if we pick, let's see here, what's that? Pork, target 196. See, we got custom, well done. We go to custom. Oops, I hit the wrong thing. Say 200. And then we hit complete. And there's our target. I don't actually know what this is indicating. It looks neat. Well, we're up and going. As I showed, you know, kind of the screen that I'm looking at here. So far, so good. Ambient temperature has come up. Internal temperature is starting to climb, which of course we want to see if we're attempting to cook things. And first impressions are pretty good. Again, the app seems to be pretty good. The accuracy, well, we'll determine that. I am actually comparing against another INKBIRD thermometer, my typical probe thermometer that I usually use. And so we'll see if they stay true to each other. I've also got an instant read thermometer that I'm going to, again, contrast and compare. I want it to be accurate, right? It's pretty much no good to you, no matter how good the app is or how impressive the packaging is, unless it properly tells the temperature, right? Well, we're a few hours into our cook, and I will say, at first I was a little worried about the temperature differential from this probe versus the other one that I've got in there, and then I realized the probe that I have in there is on a different shelf. And so I relocated it, and sure enough, they're within just a few degrees of each other. So I know this other probe to be accurate, so it appears that the external sensor on this wireless probe, at least, is accurate. So we're presently sitting at a 91 degree internal temperature on the pork butt. I did have to step out of Bluetooth range for a little bit. And when I did that, I got a notification on here that, well, it lost communication. And so I figured, well, then, as soon as I get back, I'll take a look at the graph and see, you kind of be able to tell how long you were away. Well, as it turns out, it appears that the device itself stores the temperature trends locally, at least for some period of time. And so when I re-entered Bluetooth range, well, they all showed up. So that's also a pretty neat feature. If you're trying to graph a cook and you want that historical data, just walking out of Bluetooth range isn't going to erase it or cause gaps. So neat. Well, we've made it through an 8-hour cook, cooking up some pork butt, and the thermometers perform very, very well. We've compared it to a couple of others over the course of the last several hours, known good thermometers, as well as I've had, the other probe thermometer in there, and everything looked great. I mean, it's within a degree or two, either way. The ambient temperature sensor, once I readjusted the probe that I have in there, is also within a few degrees, right? Interestingly, there is a calibration mechanism in the app to where you could adjust if you found it to be off. I think that's kind of cool, right? But when you're talking a degree or two, it's hard to say which one's more accurate than the other. But I think with being within a couple of degrees is fine, because you do still have to kind of understand how the meat should look and feel and things like that, right? You can't just rely entirely on the thermometer. That said, pretty impressed with this little deal. These are, a lot cheaper than the competitors I've seen in the wireless probes. I want to say it's something like $75 on Amazon, although I think there is a coupon right now. There is a link in the description for this from this company, right? It's their affiliate link. So if you're interested, appreciate you checking it out. But otherwise, if you've got any questions about this, please let me know. And if you'd like to see us review more little gadgets like this, let me know in the comments. It was a fun time trying out a type of thermometer that, quite honestly, I'd never used before. Thank you for sticking around, and thanks for joining us on Cold War Barbecue.